Hello and welcome to the 115th episode of Fur, Fins, and Feathers. Today our guest is Jenny Dickinson of Rumford, Rhode Island,
Cosmo,
a renowned handler and breeder, dog handler, and trainer of champion curly-coated retrievers. Jenny, how did you get started with this breed?
I had Rottweilers for about 20 years and had heartbreaking health problems with my Rotties and thought, gee, maybe I should look into some other breeds, which is always an option for people if they feel like they need something different. And I went to dog shows, which I highly encourage everybody to do, and saw these guys, and I thought, boy, that's a really appealing dog. It's a smart black dog, which I kind of have in my head. I like black dogs. So I talked to the breeder of the dog who had gone best of breed that day, and fortunately 6 months later she had a litter and there was a puppy for me. So I've had them, I guess, now for 20-something years, and I just love them. They're a wonderful breed. They're the right breed for me.
I would retract for a second. You are not a breeder.
Correct. I am not a breeder. I have never bred a litter. I don't know genetics, but I know behavior. I'm a trainer, and I work with dogs that have gotten themselves into trouble, dogs who are highly reactive, dogs who may have a bite history, and I just adore dogs, and I love dog shows, and I love everything about dogs, but I do not breed. I leave that to people who know what they're doing. I leave that to people who really have made a major part of their life's work.
And who are reputable breeders.
Exactly. And
I want to emphasize that. Emphasize reputable breeders who are knowledgeable and who stand behind their breeding.
This is so important. And you know, I'm sure people have heard the term reputable breeders. Well, what does that really mean? Well, it means health clearances. It means behavioral evaluations. It means really carefully selecting the both parents. So you have a very high likelihood of having healthy dogs who are going to be what you expect them to be.
And who have a history of longevity.
Exactly. And you want to talk to people about whether the dogs have done any of the work that that the breed is known for. You want to get because that tells you a lot about temperament. A lot of times people will get a dog thinking, oh, well, I love the way this dog looks, and so let me run out and find one. But that dog might not be at all what your family needs, what you need in your life, and the dog's going to end up getting you upset and being a poor match, and
often ending up in a shelter.
Often ending up in rescue or a shelter.
Talk about the history of this breed.
Well, this is a curly-coated retriever. This is the oldest retriever breed. This dog belongs to my friend Mary Doyle. He is not mine. He's a year old, and he's a lovely, lovely example of the breed. He is being shown in conformation, and he has 2 points toward a 15-point accomplishment, which is the championship under AKC. You'll see I've got 2 collars on him. One is his show lead, and one is just the collar that you would have on your dog to take a walk.
Now this breed is also available in liver color.
Right. It's a brown. It's a chocolatey brown that we call liver. This retriever is, as I started to say, the oldest retriever breed, and you may be familiar with the flat coat retriever, and they were kind of mixed together a couple of centuries ago because it really didn't matter to people what the distinct coat characteristics were. People cared about whether the dog was a good working dog or not. This is an upland game and water retriever, so a dog that would be prized for his working ability as a sporting dog. And you'll see that he's longer in the leg than some of the retrievers. He stands up, and he's the tallest of the retrievers. He's taller than a golden or a Labrador. This is the tallest retriever. Now, what I like about them is they're very smart and very trainable. They're very clever. They have a sense of humor. They do funny things. I participate in competition obedience, and they're really fun to train because they buy into the process. Rottweilers, which I had before, also buy into the process and are really fun to train because they like to be correct. They like to they like to learn. They like to participate with you. You're not arguing with the dog to get him to do the skills.
This is a breed that was developed in England.
In England, right.
They are now deemed as a rare breed, aren't they?
Right. They're what in England is called a vulnerable native breed. And among the other breeds that are in that category are the Otterhound and some of the terriers.
Many of the terriers.
Many of the terriers. We want to acknowledge that the terriers are less popular than they used to be.
And then, yet, on the other hand, there are, and I will not call them breeders, but individuals who are mixing breeds, and they are coming up with all these weird names, and they are selling puppies for huge amounts of money.
Right. It's very worthwhile for people to know that you will pay more for some of these mixed breeds than you will for a quality AKC registered dog. This is astounding to me, but it's certainly the case. I also want to mention that a great working breed, the Malinois, is going to see a burst of people wanting to acquire one because it was a Malinois who found the convict who was running around Pennsylvania for 2 weeks. And the same thing happened when Osama bin Laden was found with the SEAL Team 6. They had a Malinois. And all of a sudden people thought, oh, well, this must be the smartest dog. This is the right dog for me. I'll go get a Malinois. And if you don't, I'm going to tell you the truth, if you don't plan to have the training of that dog be part of every day, you will be in a heap of trouble, and the dog will be in trouble, and you will be unhappy, and the dog will end up in rescue. You need to be either herding sheep, or training agility, or training obedience, or doing police work, or doing some sort of work, or this dog is going to constantly get in trouble. The same thing happened with Border Collies when the sweet movie Babe came out. People thought, oh, well, I'll get a Border Collie. It's the same thing. So we really want people to learn about the not just the physical exercise needs, but the mental exercise needs of the breeds that they're interested in. Because a lot of times if these dogs are in homes that are not appropriate, the dog's going to constantly be getting in trouble for being who he was selectively bred to be. And this is a major hobby horse of mine, that we make sure people get a breed that's going to flourish and thrive in their home, where they're not going to be contending and arguing with the dog, asking him to be somebody other than who he is.
Everybody's running around now buying French Bulldogs.
I know, and this is really a caveat emptor situation. They're cute as they can be, but they have very serious health problems. So talk to not just people who have them, talk to veterinarians. If you're interested in a breed, ask your veterinarian whether he or she feels that this is a good choice for you, and whether you will need to be ready to spend a lot of money on health issues. I'm not denigrating any breed. I'm not suggesting that there aren't robustly healthy French bulldogs, but it is something to know about. It's something to know to expect, because if it's going to be, if you have a high likelihood of having major expenses coming down the road, you need to know that. You just need to know that, and you make your choice.
Education is very important for anybody who is going to buy any breed.
And I still think the best source of, I don't know what he's looking for, the best source of information is going to a dog show and sitting at ringside with people who have the breed. And you can find out about dog shows. Brian always knows where all the dog shows are. But you can go on a website called InfoDog, which lists all the dog shows, and you go to search by state, and you can find what shows are coming up in Connecticut, what shows are coming up in Rhode Island, what shows are coming up in Massachusetts. And you can go and sit and talk to people. That's really the way you get the inside scoop on what it's like to live with these dogs.
The AKC is another very valuable source.
Right, you can go on the AKC website. Another source of information is the rescue categories in the breed websites. Every national club, every breed that's AKC recognized has a national club, and every national club website will have a rescue section. The rescue section is where you find out why these dogs get turned in, why people give up on them. I took care of a toy dog at one point.
It's time for a cookie.
Yeah, it's time for a cookie, definitely. I took care of a toy dog, and I won't be specific about the breed, for a while. And one of the things that it did was scream all the time. And I thought, this is crazy. How do people live with this? And I went to, it was a very elegant looking dog, but I thought, gosh, I couldn't live with this. And I went to the rescue section because I wanted to learn more about the breed. I was just reading everything I could, and sure enough, the number one reason people put these dogs in rescue and say, I can't keep this dog anymore, is the screaming. So that's where you get the unvarnished truth about what the downside might be. And so you might say, well,
it might look good.
This is a beautiful dog, but you know what? That would drive me crazy. Or I live in an apartment building where my neighbors will complain about the noise, and I won't be able to keep the dog. So all these little tidbits of anecdotes are really helpful.
I always tell people who are looking for a prospective breed to go to akc.org
Yeah,
and start your search.
right. That's a good place to start because they'll direct you to the breed club.
And chances are you could go through, and there are now 190 breeds.
Yes.
You might want to think, well, I want a Kerry Blue Terrier, but you might find something else that you might like better.
Right. It's Cosmo. Cosmo, come here, honey. Good boy.
He's
Down.
back.
He's back. He's just busy. He's just
But
busy.
impulse buying is a no-no.
And may I also say, please don't buy a dog off the internet. Please, please. No matter how lovely the website is, no matter how beautiful the words are, very often people who, Cosmo, come here, who sell dogs over the internet are puppy mills. And they might pick up pictures of other people's dogs and use them, and you don't know that these are not the dogs that come from this kennel. It's an absolute, to use an old expression, pig in a poke. And you don't know how the parents are housed, you don't know how the puppies are raised, you don't know if the kennel is clean, you don't know anything about what you're buying. And you might think, oh, well, this is a convenient way to buy a dog. You will end up with a load of problems. It's a very sad thing.
Visiting a kennel is the most important thing
Yes.
you can do.
Yes. And again, if you go to dog shows, dog people will be delighted to talk to you. And they'll invite you to their kennels. And they'll say, please let me help you learn about the breed. It's wonderful to go to kennels where all the puppies are spoken for. So you can talk to the breeders without any worry that, oh, they're going to try to sell me a dog. No, they're not. But you can learn about the breed. You can watch many dogs interacting with one another and think, well, wonder how this would be in my backyard.
And oftentimes, if people are coming and they want to buy a dog and there is a puppy available, they could say, gee, I'd like to learn about this breed, but I don't want to do all this work or whatever. But I might want to go to, let's say, a flat or a curly cutter. Mm-hmm. They may want to go to another pursuit. They
Right.
don't want to be involved in conformation or obedience.
Right.
There are so many other things that families can do.
Oh, marvelous. Now, another thing people need to think of is coat care. One of the things that appealed to me about this breed is that they are wash and wear. We do a little bit of trimming around the ears if there's crazy hair, a little bit of shaping, but nothing like the labor of shaping a poodle or even a golden. I had a golden whom I loved dearly, but it used to take me 8 hours to groom him before a show. And by the time I finished grooming him, he was fed up with me and I was cross, and it was just not the most fun thing, though I have lots of OPSO friends who love grooming and love combing and find it very relaxing to sit in front of TV and comb the dog. That's something to think about. If the grooming is going to be a labor, you want to know that. If the grooming is going to be a pleasure and it's going to be a piece of cake, you want to know that.
And that is why there are so many terrier breeds in decline. People
Right.
don't want to put up with the grooming.
People don't want to do the coat care. And that's really something to learn about, because you might see a dog that you think is just beautiful and would look beautiful on my couch. But gosh, it turns out you have to take them to the groomer every 4 weeks, and you have that expense and that responsibility. And if you don't take care of that coat, you're going to end up with skin problems and so on. But it's a constant expense, and that's also, Cosmo, come here. That's also something that you've got to factor in to the cost of maintaining the dog. He said, I'm eating all kinds of
You've done so much training with other breeds. Talk about some of the other activities that people can enjoy with their breeds.
Oh, well, agility has become very, very popular, and a lot of the training centers offer good instruction in both competition agility but recreational agility, where you run an obstacle course with your dog. And that is a wonderful sport. Now, I'm old enough and arthritic enough that I don't do agility anymore. I did a little bit of it. But it's marvelous fun. And it's very different from competition obedience, which is very formal and quiet and contained. You know, there are young people who do agility, and of course young people tend to be more fit than us older people, and they're really good at it. And that involves running and jumping and
it's good for athletic people.
It's good for athletic people. The idea came from show jumping. And you watch horses in show jumping go over different kinds of jumps. And so dog people thought, well, hey, you know, this looks like something that would be fun for us to do. And it's developed into a tremendously popular sport. And you can ask your local dog training facility if they offer agility instruction. Cosmo, come here. Cosmo, come here, honey. And that's an absolutely marvelous thing. We have now new activities in the AKC and in the dog world. There is Earth Dog, which is fabulous for terriers, where they
Dachshunds,
where there will be tunnels in the ground. And at the end of the tunnel, there will be, in a safe cage, there'll be a little rat. And so the dogs have to figure out where to go in the tunnels to find the rat. And this is great fun for the dog, and it shows that the dog still has the instinct that he was developed to have. And then we have
dock diving.
Dock diving, which is fabulous fun. For dogs that like the water, and they're encouraged to jump farther and farther and farther, and some dogs love that. There is scent work, where there are different scents in boxes, and the dog goes, and this is indoors, and doesn't require that the handler be, Cosmo, come here, that the handler be particularly athletic. And the dog has to find hidden scents, boxes with scent in them, because of course we know that dogs have a gazillion times better sense of smell than we do, and we like to have them exercise that. A sport that I've always loved is tracking, and that's what you've seen the police dogs do in finding a person, and that is an organized sport, and it's great fun, and dogs love it. What else? We've got Fast Cat.
Fast Cat
is new. Fast Cat is running in the dog running in a straight line after a lure, and he's timed. And you make an effort to go under a certain time. There's lure coursing, which the sight hounds do, which is a circuit, a course with a lure, which is actually a plastic bag on the come here, sweetie, on the on a line that the dog chases, And that's lots of fun. Any of these things that allow the dog to do what he has historically done for his work are just loads of fun, very gratifying. And the people who do these sports tend to be really fun people. And if you want to try one of these sports, or you want to go and see one of these sports, people will welcome you. People are very interested in sharing their enthusiasm for these sports and getting other people to enjoy them and
to
learn
have
about
fun
them.
and to
have
learn.
fun. Have fun with your dog. They're the best. They're the best friends we have. You know, they're just sublime.
I'm missing a word, but to go in and go to nursing homes. What are we talking
therapy
about?
dog work.
Therapy
Therapy dog work. This is wonderful. I did this with my Rottweilers.
Any breed.
Any breed can
Even
do
mixed
therapy.
breeds.
Even mixed breeds. Any dog can do therapy dog work. You do have to be Cosmo, come here, honey. You do have to have a test, and you have a certificate, but it's not anything really terribly involved. It's just that the dog is safe among people and is under reasonable control. Down. Can you down?
Therapy. I've
Visiting
had
people, yeah.
We had someone come on a couple of months ago, and they were talking about they've gone to nursing homes.
Yeah.
Uh,
My mother was in a nursing home.
homes. They've also gone to daycare
Yep,
centers,
yep.
Schools, libraries.
It breaks up the day for people who have the same things going on day after day. I started to say my mother was in a nursing home, and there was someone with an Irish setter who used to, and I had an Irish setter growing up, and there was a lady who came with an Irish setter who was a therapy dog, and my mother loved those visits because it breaks up the day, and it really is a wonderful service to those folks that are kind of stuck in the same place.
It's wonderful for patients that have dementia or
Yes.
Alzheimer's.
Down.
And the results that they have, that the therapists achieve.
You hear about people who haven't spoken for quite a long time speaking to a therapy dog. That makes absolute sense to me.
And the memories that they have.
That's right. That's right. People
Wonderful
remember dogs
memories
they had
of their
growing
former
up.
dogs and past experiences with dogs.
Mm-hmm.
There is a group now in Rhode Island that even bring cats to nursing homes.
Oh, that's terrific. I love cats too. We love kitty cats.
And
we
we
love 'em.
love curly-coated retrievers. And I'm being told that this has flown by again.
Oh, we're out of time. We're out
Jenny,
of time.
it was wonderful having you.
Oh, thank you,
We've
Brian.
covered a lot of ground.
Always a pleasure. Cosmo did his best. It's hard for a 1-year-old dog to sit still, isn't it? But he was a good boy.
So he's got a bright future.
Oh, I think so.
Very good. Well, thank you again, and thanks again. It's been great to have you on Fur, Fins, and Feathers, and we will see you in a few weeks. Thank you.